everyone, thank you for joining. There was some Instagram glitch, I think, so the video ended. We have a very special guest with us today who will be joining in shortly. Until then, this is Mahika from the Mood Space. I'm really happy to see you all here. Okay. Hey, Natasha.
Hi, can you see me?
Hi. Yeah, I can see you. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, one sec. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? It's still dark here, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for joining in, Natasha, and I'm so happy to see so many people also here.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, how has it been?
It's been good. It's been tiring, but good.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, Natasha, before we start and deep dive into the live, we'd love to know your journey with Okurant. Why you started, how you started, and the struggles that you may have faced.
Honestly, this started off as like a passion project during quarantine. I think like during COVID, like, everyone, like we were stuck inside for so long and like looking for like inspiration. And I definitely think that like even though I wasn't in fashion design at all, like I was doing the business side of it completely
Mm-hmm.
at university. I feel like, it was like a problem that I was solving for myself. Like for me, personally, like my body size, I'm petite, but I'm still like curvy, so I feel like I didn't find the right type of trousers that fit me. And I kind and like, international shipping was banned, like, there was nothing that was coming to India
Right.
at that point. So then I was just like, you know what, like maybe I need to solve this problem for myself. And like I made myself like the target, and then I kind of developed this whole brand ethos behind the brand, that I wanted to make it about like my personality and like young women like me.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's what I want. That was like my goal. So I started off with kind of having like this whole, brand identity behind my brand, like being about like self-aware, like fearlessly bold and versatile women, because that's exactly what the trousers are as well. Like you can wear them anywhere, like to an art gallery, you can wear them to like, laying at home, to a movie, to work from home. So it also was about like how women can be more than one thing. Like they don't have to just
Right.
be one thing, and they can be passionate about a lot of things. They can also be bold, but they can also be sensitive. They can, they can have multiple personalities to them. Like they don't have to just be one thing.
Okay. Yeah. That's quite an interesting journey, and a very powerful message that you bring about with the brand. So yeah, and it's so good to see you prioritize your mental health and kind of create this brand that not only suits you but also inspires so many other people around.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like for me, it was kind of like, kind of like creating and celebrating like creating awareness and celebrating young women like myself that feel like, you know, they're meant to be one thing, and like the society expects you to be one thing. And I feel like for me it was more than just creating clothes, it was more like kind of developing this whole, like, you know, identity behind my brand that I want people to associate with, like more than just
Uh-huh.
trousers, you know, kind of like,
Correct.
yeah, like a community, and like a women who are like different things, who enjoy different things, who have different careers, but still like connect, like, you know, with each other.
Right, right. And it's so important to kind of find that safe community, like the one that you have created, owing to the various difficulties that women may go through, like their entire life, family, work, this personal life, and already, there has been this kind of inequality that exists, and to
Yeah.
kind of push yourself through that space, it's so important to have that community around you.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, exactly. I completely,
I couldn't hear you. Um, can
yeah,
you
I
repeat?
completely agree. I completely agree with you, and I feel like not a lot of women stand up for themselves, and you know, it's
Right.
kind of sad that like, you know, so many people have, like, you know, that just so like dim down their personality, you know, just to kind of fit in.
Right, right. So Natasha, did you ever face this concern, like balancing your family life, your personal life, and then your business as well? So how do you kind of form those healthy boundaries and, take care of everything?
To be honest, I definitely think, yeah, I did struggle at the start, and I still do in terms of like balancing, you know, just like time for yourself, plus like being around, you know, like spending time with your family, and now like being in Paris, I also have a job, so it is hard to
Right,
kind of, you know, balance that time. Also, like also make time for yourself at the same, you know, at like during the day, because I feel like, you know, otherwise it leads to like burnout, and it's really important to take
correct.
that time
Yeah.
at the end of the day. Just like also if it's like a small thing, just to do, like, you know, just that makes you happy like temporarily, and like helps you kind of like recharge for the next day. So yeah, I mean, I
Right.
feel like it with time, it's just that your body and your mind kind of tells you that like you need a break. And I think with me as well, like I take that seriously. Like if I don't feel good, I don't push myself, which I used to earlier on. So now when I
Mhm.
don't feel, like also if it's just like taking a walk in my neighborhood, or getting a cup of coffee, or like, you know, kind of reconnecting with family, or talking on the phone for a little bit, I feel like just these small things, or like even just like roaming around and walking into like an art gallery or
Uh-huh.
something like that, I feel like for me, like that helps me recharge. And I'm sure like everyone has their own like, you know, coping mechanisms, or like
Correct.
ways that like energy givers.
Right, right, definitely. And as you mentioned, it's so important to prioritize your mental well-being. And often there's this misconception that self-care always means something fancy, like going to a spa or something. But it's good to understand that self-care, is different for everyone. It can be something as small as cooking yourself, some food, or as you mentioned, going to an art gallery. It's the little things that you do that really build your mental health.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that for me personally, self care isn't like the big fancy thing. For me, it's honestly just like really doing what feels good in the moment. Like
Right.
what I mean, like just like making a choice for myself. Like, you know, like it doesn't have to be something crazy. It can also just be going for a workout, or like just on it watching a movie, like, you know, something small, but in the moment, like it feels good. So I think that's what's important. Like a lot of people
Definitely.
associate self care with like, you know, doing like extravagant things, and oh, I don't have
Correct.
the time for it. But like honestly, in reality, it's just like taking a break and doing what feels good for you in the moment.
Right, right, definitely. So, Tasha, do you have any experience of any kind of difficulty that you faced, that really impacted your mental health throughout your journey, that you'd like to share with us?
Honestly, I feel like things come and go. Like in terms of mental health, I don't think there's like a way, there's like a moment or like a time where, like, you know, your mental health is always just gonna be good. I think like
Correct.
happen on and off, but it's just like the way you deal with the things at the time. So I think, yeah,
Right.
definitely, like so many things throughout the years probably have happened, but then I feel like the good part is it's made me realize the importance of mental health. And I don't think when I was younger, I kind of took it seriously. Like, I didn't, because I feel like in India, especially, there's a lot of stigma around it, and not a lot of people
Right.
like to discuss it openly. But when I went to college in New York, or like, when I kind of spoke to my friends about it, like everyone was on the same wavelength. Like everyone was very open about how they felt. And, it was nice to see that so many people are kind of like actually, open about like mental health, even though they haven't been taught to be so, like, like growing up. So,
Right. Yeah, definitely. As you mentioned, at some point or the other, all of us are facing mental health concerns, something like stress and anxiety to something like depression. It's just that we need to start talking about it so as to kind of reduce the stigma and encourage people to reach out for help and support. And, again, one thing that you said, like things come and go, but you need to build that resilience in yourself and kind of reflect with your feelings to understand that this is something that is affecting me, or this is something that is not working out for me, and how can I make myself feel better.
yeah, I completely agree. And I think like also it's kind of like a journey that you can like kind of help yourself at that moment.
Right.
Like you have to make like conscious decisions that help you in the time at the time, like when you feel like you're not doing so well, or feeling extra anxious. I feel like you're the only one who can like kind of like help yourself get out of the situation,
Correct.
just feel better with like the coping mechanisms you choose. So, but I just think that more people have to be aware of that, and more people have to take things like this seriously and not just, like kind of blow it off.
Right, right. Like we need to understand that it's okay to not be okay and reach out for help. I remember we were discussing on call as well, because of so many responsibilities that we have. Mental health somehow just gets sidetracked. It's just very blur somewhere in the background. When in reality, it should be our main hero, right? Because if you yourself don't have the bandwidth to do certain things, like you yourself are not okay, how will you do other things,
Yeah, I
right?
completely agree. And for me, especially, like I can't put a facade. I'm a very straightforward person. So if I'm not feeling, people will know. But if I'm feeling good, people will know as well. And either way, like I don't think suppressing your emotions or suppressing things related to mental health is really good in the long run, or even temporary.
Definitely.
Especially for me as a person, I'm sure other people
Hmm.
with things differently, but for me, I think like really letting it out and talking about it and having like conversation with people who understand. I think
Hmm.
what really helps, and like also kind of like hearing about other people's experiences, knowing that other people also feel the same way. So I think that's what, yeah.
Definitely. And since I'm very glad that we are also talking about mental health concerns, and I'm very glad that you have also opened up about the difficulties that you faced, because a lot of time people feel that opening up or being vulnerable is a sign of weakness. But we always say it's something that takes a lot of courage. It's actually a sign of bravery when you're reaching out for help and support, because you're willing to take care of yourself.
Yeah, and I honestly think that more people need to understand that, like, like
Definitely.
especially like younger like generations. I think like they think it's cool not to be open or not to care, but I really don't think so. Like, I think like being more open, cooler, like being more like like open about how you're feeling, what you're feeling in the time, and like in general, I just feel like like emotional maturity and intelligence is like rare right now, and but I hope like more people become more aware of like how to be better.
Right. Right, right. Like how to treat yourself better and others better as well,
Yeah.
Like a lot of times, we provide that listening ear to somebody else, but when it comes to us, we kind of, shove it down. Like we don't want to face our feelings because we have this internalized thing that, it is associated with weakness.
Yeah, and I don't know why that like so many
Yeah.
people think like that because I genuinely think it's the opposite. Like, I think it's quite brave to open up and like, really talk about
Definitely.
how you're feeling. And also like it's good for you. Like it's honestly good for your not only your mental health but your physical health as well. Like, like suppressing things I just don't understand like how people do it.
Right. Yeah. So Natasha, how do you take care of your mental health? I know you told about, you spoke about speaking about your feelings and, going for a walk and doing something that makes you feel better in that moment itself. But is there any specific thing that you do to, that always helps you feel better?
I think for me, like listening to music, like it's really like things that are therapeutic. Like, and I feel different times of the day, like when I'm feeling like a different ways, like different things help. Like it's not always like that one perfect look.
Correct.
Because like some days I think like listening to music and taking a nap would help, but then some days I feel like talking to my friend would help, or like some days I feel like just like kind of exploring, like for me, like seeing things, meeting new people, like just kind of getting
Right.
out of that, like out of your head, and just like going out, like just reminding yourself that there's so many like things to see, like there's so many things to do, and like meeting a new person, or like going and honestly having a good meal. I think that helps all the time for me.
Definitely.
Like getting
Yeah.
a good cup of coffee, having a good like meal. I think that for me is like is a game changer. And I think in general, like realize when you're not so good and taking a break. Also, if it's your job, if it's like a big commitment, I think that like with realize that like whatever it is, I make sure that like if I'm feeling burnt out, like I stop myself and I'm just like, okay, like this is the time where I step in and like take a break.
That's so important, like so many of us in this fast-paced world, we're always, crushing ourselves with work and commitments, but it's so important to kind of give yourself that time to heal and to, rejuvenate as well.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Right. So I think I'm just looking for some questions if anybody has any. Um, it says, how do you prioritize your well-being? I think we already answered that, right?
Yeah, I think prioritizing and like realizing are two different things. But yeah, prioritizing is also that like at the end of the day, like if you're not feeling so good, like don't go to that plan, or like stay at home, or like if
Yeah.
like, or like I just feel like after yourself, like making sure like you work, like you've been go like you're working out regularly, or like eating good meals. I think for me it's that.
Uh-huh. Right. Okay. I think we have covered all the
I
questions.
have
Is
a
there?
question. How do you manage deadlines when your mental health is the best at that? I think for me, that's like the biggest challenge, and I think I'll continue to like struggle with that. Is specifically when it's like you have a big commitment, and you have like for me, like I think working under pressure is what makes my mental health like not that great on like.
Uh-huh.
But I feel like honestly, I kind of pace myself out. I organize my time. Like I like, down and I, like every 15 to 20 like minutes, like I'll like just walk around and take a break just so I feel like my like mind clear, like or like just
Mm.
or yeah, like I feel like not cramming your work up, and like just kind of organizing your time. That's what helps me with deadlines, because otherwise I think under pressure I go crazy. So
Yeah.
not a good.
Same here, same here. So I was a very unorganized person before, and then 10 things used to pile on, and I used to be like, I can't do anything. I used to just freeze, not do anything. But now I've started to kind of make a plan for the entire day that these are the things that I need to get done with, and that really helps me as well.
Yeah, and I honestly also feel like otherwise you're just going to be burnt out and then you're not going to do anything
Right.
more. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I think it's just about organizing your time and kind of just like prioritizing what's important, what's not.
right. Um, do you see any other relevant question?
What's your comfort food? I think for me, I have lots of comfort food. Like depends on the day, depends on the mood and the weather. But I think for me, like I love home food. I think that's my comfort food, like Indian home food. And definitely like Chinese food as well. And uh, what else? Can't think. And I think anything that feels good at the moment. Like if I'm feeling like I've eaten very healthy and then the next day like have like a avocado toast, I'll feel good. But then if I feel like I've just not been eating so well and I have like a really big like meal of like greasy noodles and like tofu stuff like that, I'll be like that'll feel good too. So I think it really depends.
Right. Uh, there's a question which says, what was your inspiration behind starting Mokuran? But I think covered that.
Yeah.
Um, someone says, Sia says, I love bhindi roti. It's my ultimate comfort food.
Yeah, same.
I don't see any other question. Do you?
No.
For some reason, like the questions that you are saying, I can't see them in the comments also.
And I can't see
It's
the
like,
been saying so.
yeah, some Instagram glitch probably.
Yeah.
All right, Natasha, before we end the live, would you like to say anything to end it?
Honestly, I feel like I've said a lot, but all I want to say is like maybe that people need to become more aware in whatever way they can, like whatever way works for them, and like not be afraid of like talking about things or not be afraid of like seeking help or talking to people, like also something or, like, kind of let it out. And also like prioritize self-care. Like I think that like no
Definitely.
matter what job or like how many commitments you have, I think like doing something that feels good is,
Right, definitely.
yeah.
Um, all right, Natasha, thank you so much for joining in today. We had a wonderful session, and I really hope that the audience enjoyed it too.
Yeah,
And yeah, we look forward to collaborating again.
me too, thank you. Nice day.
Thank you. You too. Bye.